In this tutorial, we are going to investigate hierarchical blocks in Capsim. We're going to create a hierarchical block representing a multipath channel and then reuse that in a top-level end-to-end simulation. To do this, let's go back to tutorial number 4, which contains the multipath, which is represented by bulk delay, a multipath gain, a multipath delay, and of course a direct path. And what we're going to do is convert these blocks into a single hierarchical block. This will be very useful because anytime we need a multipath model, we can actually grab a hierarchical block to represent that. In order to do this, we need to get rid of the probe. Anytime you want to create a hierarchical block from existing blocks, within that topology, you have to delete all probes within that topology. Next, you go to the Manipulate window, select Blocks, and then we draw a bounding box around the blocks that we are interested in. Double check that all the blocks that we are interested in are selected, which seems to be the case here. Next, we go to the Manipulate pull-down menu and select Create Hierarchical Block. That is, create and replace hierarchical block. Name the block, we'll call it multipath. And you can see that the blocks have been incorporated into a single block. This is called a hierarchical block. Let's go down that block. You go down one level and we open up its topology. You'll notice that the blocks have been incorporated into one topology. This is a hierarchical block. The inputs are designated as input terminals. In this case we have one, and the outputs as output terminals. And this is how it relates back to the original block, where samples come in and samples come out. They come in through the terminal and out the other terminal. Hierarchical blocks can have multiple input and output terminals, or none at all, in fact. What we are going to do next is actually save this simulation. So let's save this simulation as, in fact, the topology as tutorial number 5. And we're going to go ahead and clear all. What we're going to do is actually open up the multipath hierarchical block that we created, and we're going to illustrate how to assign parameters to this block, and we do that through the arguments. So as before, we go back to the toolbar and click on the arguments. We have an argument from the previous simulation. We can actually get rid of that by just selecting delete arg. The argument number is 0. Enter that in the dialog box, and of course we've gotten rid of that particular argument. The new arguments that we want to add for this block are as follows. We need to specify the bulk delay, the multipath gain, and the multipath delay. So the first argument we are going to add is in fact an integer argument, and it's the bulk delay. Value is 5. The next argument is going to be the gain. So we add an argument. In this case, the argument is going to be a floating point argument, and the prompt is going to be multipath gain. And we'll set it equal to 0.4. The third argument is going to be of type integer, and it is going to be the multipath delay, and the value is going to be 6. So now we have the arguments, and we need to assign the parameters within the blocks to these arguments. These will then be exported to the upper level topologies. So let's go ahead and click on the bulk delay and change its argument to arg0. We would like to double check that. You'll notice that it has been changed to arg0 and the value is 5, which was the bulk delay. Same for the gain. Change it to arg1. Double check it. You see that arg1 is in fact 0.4, corresponding to the multipath gain. Change the delay to arg number 2. Double check it, and you'll notice that it has been changed in fact to 6. So we have actually created the arguments, and then we go to the individual blocks and assign the particular parameters to the argument parameters. That's how we link them all together. At this point, we'd like to save the changes that we have made, and we're going to go ahead and of course clear everything out, and we are going to go back and open up tutorial number 5, in which we did have the multipath block, which is a hierarchical block. Now let's click on that and change its parameters, and you'll notice that the parameters are exactly what we set up in the previous step. All the arguments have now been exported and appear as regular parameters within a block. Let's go ahead and set the multipath gain to 0, so there is no multipath distortion. Let's go ahead and run the simulation. We get a nice open eye. However, it has been shifted, and that's due to the bulk delay. Let's go over here, change the parameter, and actually set the multipath gain back to 0.4, so that we now have intersymbol interference. Run the simulation, and in fact the eye is quite messed up and closed, indicating intersymbol interference. Let's go ahead and save this topology as tutorial number 6. And we have completed this tutorial describing how to create hierarchical blocks from existing blocks and incorporating those within end-to-end simulations. It is very straightforward, very powerful feature of Capsim, and simplifies the block diagrams considerably and encourages reuse.